Now here's a question. How do you define a supercar? Some may say you need a certain amount of horsepower to fit the bill, while according to others, it's meant to be an extension of the driver, a weapon for them to carve up the tightest racetracks in the fastest time.
But if you ask McLaren, well, this is the answer.
This is the McLaren 750S, the latest addition to the brand's supercar series. Although if I haven't told you, you probably wouldn't even have noticed it. It doesn't look drastically different to the 720S, and in fact, the whole car itself isn't all that different either, with only about 30% of its components being new or changed. But when you're talking about a predecessor that is so accomplished, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. And for the all-new 750S, McLaren says that they've taken everything that's great with the 720 and made it even better, even more McLaren.
So what exactly is better? Well, for starters, there's the engine. It's still the same 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 engine sitting right behind me, but it's now been upgraded to make 750 horsepower and 800 Newton meters of torque. That's enough to make it the most powerful series production McLaren ever. It'll do 0 to 100 km per hour in 2.8 seconds, and it'll reach 200 km per hour in 7.2 seconds. And believe me, it is fast. But with this being a McLaren, it's never just about the power, because this car here is actually 30 kilograms lighter than the 720S, making it also the lightest series production McLaren ever.
The weight savings come from a strict weight loss regime throughout the entire car, and one that truly embodies the statement, every little bit counts. It has the lightest wheels ever fitted onto a series production McLaren, and even the new exhaust system also helped shed 2.2 kilograms from its overall weight. And when you add all of that up, the McLaren 750S tips the scale at just 1,277 kilograms at its lightest dry weight, making it some 193 kilograms lighter than its closest competitor. And the results? A car that is incredibly light on its feet.
And on these kinds of roads, well, the 750S is just plain brilliant fun to drive. I mean, it's so connected to the road, so pure and so direct, and because the steering is actually tuned faster than before, the car actually feels a lot smaller than it actually is. And the best part is, you don't even have to go that fast to enjoy the car. I mean, I'm just driving 40 to 50 kilometers per hour, and you can really feel how balanced the chassis is, how agile the front end is, how it handles the switchback corners, how the body control works, and even how it rides over speed humps and road surfaces. And I tell you what, the 750S here is actually really comfortable as well. I mean, Portugal isn't exactly known for its road conditions, but I'm in a supercar, and even driving through these cobblestones, well, if 750 horsepower supercar isn't supposed to ride like that.
As surprising as it may sound, livability is one of the key aspects that McLaren focus on when developing the 750S. And not only have they made it more comfortable on the road, there's also more USB charging ports inside, a new infotainment system, Apple CarPlay as standard, and even a Bowers & Wilkins premium sound system on board.
But when you're in a car like this, you probably wouldn't care about all that at all, especially not when you have this.
And when you can do all of that in a Spider with virtually zero compromises, well, that's essentially like turning the volume up to 11, isn't it?
This is just amazing. I mean, the views, the wind in your hair, the smell of nature, and most importantly, that freaking sound.
The 750S might be better than ever on the roads, but to measure a supercar's true potential, you have to go to the place where it calls home. The racetrack.
McLaren has always been about driver engagement, and it cannot be even more apparent than on the 750S. We've had a taste of what it's like on the open roads, but on track, well, this is really where it's at. It's a car to go really fast, like really fast, but it's not just about chasing lap times, because it's a car that still has character. It's a car that will talk to you through the steering wheel, through the brakes, through your seats, to tell you what you're doing, to tell you what it likes, to tell you where you can go even faster.
The steering, as always, uses a hydraulic system to ensure maximum feedback from the road surfaces. The brakes have been upgraded with a new brake booster for a more consistent pedal feel, but perhaps more importantly, there's also a lighter and revised suspension setup paired with the bespoke twin valve dampers to really improve the way the chassis communicates with the driver.
And when I say it's even more McLaren, well, this is exactly what it means. The turn-in, the steering is really direct, really fast, and the amount of confidence you have on turn-in is just astounding. You feel the body working its magic, especially through the direction changes. And on the higher speed, sweeping corners, well, the amount of grip you have through the aerodynamic upgrades, through the Trofeo R tyres, is just mind-bending.
At the limits, the tail will start sliding out a little bit, like a dog wagging its tail eager to show you its playful side. Impressively, even with 800 Nm under your right foot, the 750S never once felt unruly. A slight twitch of the steering wheel instantly corrects its course, but if you want more sideways action, you can always just put on more throttle.
The brakes are really strong, and when you're braking hard, you can feel the car actually sit down thanks to the air brakes at the back deploying, and the brake pedal feels really linear, really controllable as well. And when you reach the straights, just gently put down the accelerator and listen to the V8 roar. It really is quite amazing what this car can do on both extremes. On the open road, it's so comfortable, it's so easy to drive. And then you come to the racetrack and you do this. I can really do this all day.
The 750S is McLaren's definition of a supercar, and as someone who enjoys a bit of driving, I think I do actually agree with them. Driving enjoyment isn't always about being the fastest across the line. For some people, it's about feel, it's about the emotions. But when you can do both of that in just one car, then what more can you ask for?